For now, yeah, we can talk through this stuff.
Okay. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back in just a little bit with more of Best Storytelling. This week's show is brought to you by Bespoke Post. Bespoke Post, they've got that box of awesome. If you've listened to Nextlander, you know about the box of awesome. Alex and Brad.
Indeed.
Better than the box of mediocre, that's for sure.
That's for sure. Better than a box of okra.
Well, now, let's not be hasty.
Are you saying that okra's not awesome?
No, okra's... Oh, man, listen, maybe okra will come in your box of awesome. I don't really know. I've got knives. I've gotten whiskey glasses. I've gotten scented things for the home. I've gotten bags to carry stuff in.
I got a cozy warm shirt that I've been wearing this winter that is fantastic from a brand called Line of Trade. Okay. I got that same incense. I have gotten several boxes of awesome, and let me tell you, I have found the goods to be fairly awesome.
I got a headlamp.
You got a headlamp?
I got a headlamp.
Was
That's
it an awesome headlamp?
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
It's right here.
Brad's gonna put on his headlamp.
Put it on and look like Sam Fisher.
This is an audio ad. No one will see it, but I love it. I can see it right now.
Brad is both wearing his headlamp and looking like Sam Fisher. While you do that, Brad, let me explain what Box of Awesome is to the fine folks listening. Box of Awesome gets you started with a quiz over at boxofawesome.com. Your answers help them pick the right box of awesome for you. They release new boxes every month across a ton of different categories. Each box is valued around $70, but you're only going to pay a fraction of that price. Plus, with each box of awesome, you're supporting small businesses. 90% of everything that comes in your box of awesome is from a small, up-and-coming brand. But you didn't know, small and up-and-coming brands like headlamps, too. It's free to sign up, and you can skip a month or cancel at any time. How do you do this? Let me tell you. Let me give you that call to action. You can get 20% off your first monthly box when you sign up at boxofawesome.com and enter the code NEXTLANDER at checkout. That's boxofawesome.com, code NEXTLANDER for 20% off your first box. Boxofawesome.com, code NEXTLANDER. Thanks, Bespoke Post. All right, we are back, and we are still in Best Storytelling here. Currently on the list, we have Elden Ring, Norco, The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, The Quarry, Immortality, and Atari 50, the Anniversary Celebration.
Yeah, and Alex has already gone to the mat, gone to bat. What's the metaphor here for Norco?
Either of those works. I think gone to bat for. We'll go with it, but yeah, it's Norco.
Okay. So I guess we've talked through pretty much every game here.
Yeah.
I narrow it.
These are tough. So, we started with a list of our favorites, to be fair. Let's say this again. The stuff we had on here were games we thought were very good, so as they've winnowed down on this list, we have let go of games we already thought were good. This is tough.
Gotta commit, man.
Yeah, I'm looking at these games. Atari 50 is strong for me. It's very, very strong. Norco, extremely strong. Immortality is more, I think, mechanic than substance. And I think also The Quarry is just a lot of fun with its story. I think for me to go would be Stanley Parable and probably Elden Ring to take it down. I don't know if you have strong feelings about either of those.
No, I mean, like I said, I think Stanley Ultra Deluxe is very clever.
Yeah,
it would not win for me. It's between The Quarry and Atari 50.
The Quarry and Atari 50. Okay.
Yeah, it sounds like Immortality probably also is not going to make it for you.
Probably not going to make it. I mean,
okay.
So currently now we have Norco for Best Storytelling, Quarry for Best Storytelling, and Atari 50. Alex has flagged Norco as something that is staying on this list for Alex. So
yes.
Alex's pick is Norco.
I'm done. I did my thing.
Yeah.
I'm
torn.
It's all caps for Norco, right?
It is all caps.
Okay. I am torn between The Quarry and Atari 50. I'm deciding in real time here.
Yeah, I mean, all three of these have a...
They're just doing different things, obviously, but they have extreme merits in their favor.
Like I was like very eager for those Quarry streams every time they came around. By about the halfway point, I was like, oh man, I can't wait to get back to that game. And then I turned around and started playing it with my girlfriend after we finished it. That ending is a real bummer though.
It's kind of the one knock against it for me.
Yeah, it's rough.
Especially considering I feel like Until Dawn did have like a slightly better version of that kind of ending. Maybe it's just something about the way it was paced out at the end. I don't know.
I don't know what happened there.
Yeah.
The whole rest of the game just feels like it's so well done. I think I gotta go Atari 50. For me. Like, I know it sounds so highfalutin to call a game like an accomplishment or whatever, but like, I just don't think I haven't seen that before in a video game product.
Yeah.
You know? And it's weird because, like, it feels weird to call that thing a game because it's not quite a game in a traditional sense. It contains a lot of games. But, I don't know.
I mean, it's also a way, they figured out a way to do documentary storytelling
Yeah.
in the context of a game.
Yeah, and I love documentaries, and like for that to kind of manifest in video game form is pretty awesome. And you know, like nobody's getting younger, you know, like we talked about, like some of those Atari folks are already gone, and so
It's amazing.
Yeah, getting those stories down, and some of them are fairly emotional while they still can, and in the form that they did is just like it's extremely meaningful to me, and I got to give it up for that game.
I respect it.
I love Norco. I gotta go with Norco. I gotta.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. I think
Goodbye,
I put my
goodbye, Quarry.
Goodbye, Quarry. Our best storytelling picks of the list, taken down from a bunch of fantastic games telling fantastic stories in fantastic ways. We are down to Atari 50, the anniversary celebration, is Brad's #1 pick in best storytelling, and Norco is the pick for Alex and for me, Vinny. Let me say this: if you're listening to this, go check out the Atari 50, the anniversary celebration.
Agreed.
Yeah, that's the one where I'm like, please spend money on this.
Yes.
Even if you don't think you care about Atari, because let me tell you right now, I don't give a fuck about Atari hardware. That is they did some really great work on that thing.
Yeah, like I said this on the main podcast a couple months ago too, but I'm kind of in the same boat. I mean, the 2600 was the first console I played. Like, I do have some emotional attachment to that stuff, but not in the way that I am attached to like old Nintendo stuff or X, Y, and Z. You know, like my interest here is a little more academic, a little more just historical. But even then, like, it's just told so well. Like it's they humanize it very well. You know, like it's a story anybody can appreciate, even if you don't think you're into Atari stuff.
It's also, I think, a story of, again, we've gone through how it's interesting and novel in the way it presents it, but it's also a story, I think, that is a bygone era of game development. There's just too much money and too many interests in game development at this point.
It's so crazy. Listen to them talk to, like,
it's a little slapdash, like the whole...
It will never be like that again.
Talking to somebody like Howard Scott Warshaw or something, you know, like most of those games were made by a single person, you know? It was just a person came up with an idea and coded it and did all the everything themselves, and like it's just...
There are too many collectors out there. You're not going to find original prototypes of these things in somebody's backyard barn or whatever, in a hut.
Yes,
like,
getting that story about them finding all of those old arcade machines on that sunflower farm.
It's amazing. Also... check out Norco. You'll know if you're in for it or not, but if you enjoy what you see there, I really don't think it's going to let you down. Norco is a really fun and wild ride. Took me a little while to get through, but I'm glad I did. It just goes places that
incredible places.
Expand your mind a little bit with Norco.
Free your mind, man.
The whole bird thing and the whole thing is just it's a wild ride. Best storytelling, Norco Atari 50, the anniversary celebration.
Love it.
Next, we're gonna get up to our first pet category here, and if you've been looking on the video, you can probably see it in the outline here. But we've got a category.
I'm sorry, we lost my header.
Oh no!
I thought of it's fine. I originally labeled these personal funsies.
Yes, we're in the personal funsies zone now, and our first personal funsie here is my category, which we are not here to debate. This is just a personal pet category that
I can't debate your picks. How
No,
dare you?
You cannot. I'm just here to tell you about these FMV or point-and-click adventure games that are for cool people. So these are games that came out this year that usually don't have a lot of places to go on lists. These are games that I personally look forward to every year, and kind of a bunch of them came out. So I'll give you my list of these, and then I'll just tell you what I think some of my favorites are. I have The Quarry on here, Immortality, which we talked about a bunch, both of those. The Centennial Case, a Shijima story, which we did a stream of, which is another fun FMV game.
The most illegal FMV game of the year.
Is it illegal?
Well, remember there was that whole thing with Square Enix, like getting mad at people streaming it.
Yes. The Dark Pictures anthology, The Devil in Me, which we are currently in a process of making our way through. The Excavation of Hobbs Barrow, which is a point-and-click adventure game. Return to Monkey Island, in case you forgot, came out this year. Another point-and-click adventure game. I put Norco on this list as a point-and-click adventure game because
it kind of is.
Because it kind of is. You have an inventory in a couple of screens, and I would say it is of that. And Not for Broadcast went 1.0 or came out. Yeah, in early January. Yeah.
I don't think I realized that went 1.0.
Which is a really fun FMV game. And so, you might say, oh, well, The Quarry and The Devil in Me, are they FMV games? I'm saying yes.
Kind of.
I'm saying yes.
To the extent that the 3D models look just like the actors,
yeah,
sure.
I'm going with it. I think it's the next iteration of full motion video and kind of where those things have gone. And I think The Quarry and Dark Pictures. And, I'm not here to pick a winner for these, but I am calling them out for being awesome. But I think Not for Broadcast is one people need to check out. That game is a lot of fun.
I might have to download that, actually. I had my eye on it, but I'm classically averse to early access games, and now that it's finished, I might... How do they describe that game? A full-motion propaganda simulator.
Yeah,
that's correct.
This is how they describe it.
It's got a lot of satire. It's very political.
Got a lot of personality to it. I will give it that. It is a standout personality.
Trailer just starts with somebody shoving a VHS tape in a deck.
You play as a control room operator for a station, and you're kind of putting together cuts and putting together the nightly news footage, and it's really well done. So that's Not for Broadcast in the FMV and or point-and-click adventure games are for cool people. And go check out Excavation of Hobbs Barrow. It's another great point-and-click adventure game that came out this year. I enjoyed Monkey Island, but I think I actually enjoyed Hobbs Barrow a little bit more. So check that out. The other games on this list you've seen us talk about. If you're into those types of games, if you enjoy what Vinny likes, that's me, you might want to check those out as well. Again, but... Not for Broadcast and Excavation of Hobbs Barrow in the FMV and or point-and-click adventure games are for cool people category.
So you're not even going to whittle this one down at all?
No. These are, hey, this is my category. You can check out all these.
You can do what you want. I am going to whittle my category down a little bit as we go through it, but I'm all right.
No.
All right.
These are all great games. Go play all of these. I'm only highlighting the ones I like the most out of here.
Okay.
Yeah. There are no bad games. All right, we're moving on.
Well, okay, wait, no, you can't say things like that.
There are no bad games on my list.
Okay.
We are going to move on to our next category, which is Best Game We Came Back To. So this category is kind of based around the idea that over the years, we've had iterations of games as service, early access, games that get DLC, games that go 1.0. This is kind of all of that dumped into one. If a game had come out previously in some form or another, and we came back to it for one reason or another this year, it was eligible for nomination in this category.
Got it. I think this started largely around games coming out of early access, but then we had to put Dwarf Fortress on here, and also I knew people were going to riot if we tried to imply that Dwarf Fortress just came out or something.
Yeah, and there was room for DLC like the Cuphead DLC and remakes.
Yes. Or, hey, a 2021 game that I didn't play until this year.
There you go.
And you as well, I believe.
Mm-hmm. So let's get into it, which starts with Teardown, Dwarf Fortress, Grounded, which is a 1.0 release. Cuphead, I should say. Cuphead, let me go down this again. Teardown 1.0. Dwarf Fortress had its Steam release. It's more of a port, I would say, right?
Graphics and sound and UI makeover.
Yeah.
and also they're charging money for it now and selling a lot of copies of that game.
Yes.
Good on the Dwarf Fortress people will never have to work again, and good for them.
Grounded.
They've worked so long.
Seriously, dude.
It's been a long road. Grounded, which was 1.0. Cuphead's DLC, which is Delicious Last Course. Resident Evil Village and its DLC.
DLC's okay.
Okay.
The DLC was a little underwhelming, honestly.
Maybe not the thing.
The base game, well, we'll talk about it.
Rogue Legacy 2, which hit 1.0. Hard Space Shipbreaker hit 1.0. The Last of Us Part 1, which is a remake, bringing Last of Us up to current PS5. And the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, which was basically DLC, but included some fleshing out of Stanley Parable. It's one big package, right? The Ultra Deluxe?
Buddy, is it ever?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Those are the games we could add to it if we want, but those are the games we currently have on our best game we came back to. Where do we want to start? Can I start?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
I did not play a lot of Rogue Legacy 2. I didn't spend a lot of time in there. It wouldn't make my final list on here. It's I don't know if you guys have different feelings about it, but while I enjoyed it, I found I also bounced kind of hard off of Rogue Legacy, so it was it's very similar.
Yes. It is definitely more of that. I mean, with a lot of additions, and the look is quite different, but I did play a lot of that game. I like both of those games a lot. I don't know that I would put it. It would probably not be my pick either here. It's very good though.
It's very good. We can leave it on here for now as we go through stuff, but
well, if nobody else is going to pick it, then and if I'm not going to, then there's no reason to keep it.
Yeah, I'm definitely not going to end up picking that one. So.
I think it's. I would like to get back to that game though. It is definitely iterative, but they made a lot of interesting changes to it. Still plays very well, also.
Again, I'll just say for the record, we started with the list of the best games we came back to, so everything on here is pretty good.
It's an honor to be nominated.
That's right.
I think for me, the only two on here that I feel fairly strongly about, because they're the only ones that I think I really felt like, hey, coming back to this, I had a great time, and I'm really glad that I did, are Teardown and Grounded. And that's no diss on Cuphead, which is the other one that I feel like I almost put on that list. But the thing that Cuphead DLC made me realize and remember is that, boy, I still suck gallons of ass at fucking Cuphead.
Gross. But maybe
It's
not.
really well-made DLC, but...
Well, as the world's best Cuphead player, I can tell you that DLC rules.
It's good.
I started to say half the reason I put this on here, that's not fair, because that DLC is quite good. But part of the reason I put this on here is because I think it's... in this very specific context of listing games for Game of the Year, their DLC abbreviating to DLC is pretty funny.
It's pretty good.
I agree.
It is the Delicious Last Course.
It's
the Cuphead. It's the Cuphead DLC.
It's good DLC. It adds a new playable character. It's
yeah. Ms. Chalice actually pretty fundamentally changes the way the game plays, which is pretty awesome. Like, I got to the point where I kind of didn't want to use Cuphead or Mugman. No offense to them. It is more Cuphead. Like,
yes,
when you get down to it, it is more Cuphead, and the bosses are very impressive. It is definitely more of that, though.
Yep, more great music, more great animation.
Yeah, I mean, it would not make it for me, but it was a good reason to come back to the game for sure.
I finished it and then I kind of just put it down and didn't spend a ton of time in it.
Man, I'm realizing this is going to be a hard category for me. Resident Evil Village.
Village.
We came back to in the sense that none of us played it in 2021 when it came out, largely on account of quitting our jobs right around the time that it launched. If I had played through that game last year, it would have been very high on my top 10 list. I will say that. I don't know about you.
Yes, I like Resident Evil Village quite a bit.
It could have been a number 2 or 3 on my top 10 list last year, I think. But
I think Resident Evil Village is pretty high on there. I'm not sure it would be on this list for me.
Yeah, I'm going to leave it for now. I'm not sure where I'm going to land yet. It is kind of the odd game out here, though, in that it's just a game.
Well, it did have DLC, but it's not the reason it's on here.
But that's not, that doesn't rate. But it's very situational for us that we're even talking about it here compared to these other games, but I'm still going to leave it for now.
I think they did really good work on The Last of Us Part 1. I don't know that the word I would put to associate with playing that game again is glad that I came back to it. You know what I mean? Like, I had my time with The Last of Us Part 1. That was my favorite game the year it came out. I think this remake is well done. It looks real nice. They've given their sheen that they gave Last of Us 2 to this thing. But I don't actually think I ever need to fully play The Last of Us again. I'm like good on that front.
I kind of get where you're coming from. I think it is cool that this exists now in this form.
Yes.
I mean, it is kind of weird because they already did a remaster, I guess you'd call it. This is kind of a little bit more of a remake. This is the third time they put this game out. But it is cool that they sort of brought it up to the standard of the second one. How much that has to do with the new TV show, I'm not sure.
I'm going to say probably a fair amount.
I'm kind of with you. I mean, it's a pretty depressing game.
Yes.
Sure. It is a much more successfully executed game than the second one, though. And in that sense, it's cool that it's here.
Yeah.
But yeah, if nobody's jumping out of their chair for it, it can probably go.
It's not really a jump out of your chair kind of game.
I would not put it down as my favorite here.
Yeah, I'm good to move on from it.
I think Grounded for me is probably my pick.
It's up there for sure. Definitely the gulf between playing it when it first came out in early access, like we streamed it in 2020, like not that long into there, a few months into the pandemic, and playing it as a group and just going like, oh, this seems neat and promising. Oh, maybe I'll check this out again sometime. And then like coming back to it when it was finished and just going, wow, this is one of the best games of the year.
Yeah.
Wow.
I played the hell out of Grounded, and it's still continuing. I think it just is in the process, or as of the time of this recording, is getting another significant update. It's iterating. It's pretty hot and heavy in the old Grounded dev circle.
Yeah, they're still supporting it. It's just good.
It's just good. They made a good game.
It's just a very good survival and crafting RPG with a lot of like childlike wonder at, oh wow, that's a giant ladybug, and look at this soda can the size of a house.
It's like decent combat in it as well. It's not exceptional, but it's like okay.
The progression and combat stuff are actually like what kind of sealed it for me, you know, because like it had the look on day one.
Yeah.
But like seeing the game they built out once we got into it, and you know, chasing all the bug parts to build armor out of, like I don't know, man, I just love building armor out of the things that you kill.
Yeah.
Which maybe means I should play more Monster Hunter. I don't know.
It's also got a decent hook in terms of narrative progression. They kind of set up a little story there, which has a decent backbone to it. It's not just wandering around aimlessly all the time.
Yeah, Grounded might be my pick here. I'm not sure.
I'm locking it in as mine.
Okay.
Wow. Okay then.
I like it.
I don't feel as strongly about anything else on here. It's like
decisiveness.
Teardown would be my number 2. I think that the final product of that thing is really impressive and really cool in a way that, just even seeing those trailers, I did not necessarily fully expect. But I don't like crafting survival RPGs, and the fact that I really enjoyed playing Grounded, especially with you guys, I think is what makes it the winner here for me. Like it is working outside a comfort zone that I normally would ever really want to like throw myself into, and I had a blast.
Yeah.
I think I'll say this for Teardown. I liked Teardown in what I played of it early on, when it was kind of in its pre-release. I kind of didn't love Grounded when we played it early on. I
didn't either. I thought it was like okay.
Yeah, I thought it was okay. It was a little. I was, this is on us too, or on me. Lost in it. It was hard to kind of get my bearings and kind of find a pace in it. But going back into Grounded, I hit full traction. Like I just, I really, really, and if it's a game I came back to, Like Grounded definitely hit me the hardest coming back to it and being like, man, they put a lot of work into this. This feels much more like a game now from when it first released. Teardown, I kind of like that out of the gates, and sealing it up and having more levels is great.
Yeah, they just fleshed it out.
That's a kind of a similar thing with Hard Space Shipbreaker. They did add a lot more story stuff to it as well, and that game actually is a decent amount more fleshed out than the sandbox they had to it.
God, I wanted to love that game. I just something about the way my brain processes the space
Spatial
mechanics of that game, like I could never fully wrap myself around it. I just couldn't do it.
That game's
but
great.
I really admire it.
My only thing is it gets a little samey in tearing down the ships, so it does, for me, even with the narrative stuff, does drag on a little bit, and that's probably my biggest knock against it. The kind of progression wheel slows down, even though I am into everything it's doing. And I don't know, these are all really good. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, like coming back to the Stanley Parable was awesome. Like I did that in maybe 1 or 2 sittings. I just couldn't put it down. I don't know. It's hard to argue with the amount of hours I have put into Ground.
Yeah. We played it on those streams, and I really enjoyed that enough that I went and started my own world, and then I've now put that on pause because I've got a group of friends who wants to start a run, and so I'm like, playing it with a group is the way to play that game, so I'm basically about to start that game for the 4th time, and I'm still very excited to do so.
It's also really nice that they, or interesting, and not a thing I have necessarily seen before, but this isn't my genre, of letting you spin off single-player instances of your multiplayer world. Like completely obviating the need for dedicated servers by just letting you make a shared world and then just letting anybody to play it whenever they want is pretty awesome. Dwarf.
All right, it doesn't sound like Hard Space will hang. Well, I don't know. It's up to Vinny. I mean, Alex already picked his. I'm still torn here. We haven't even talked about Dwarf Fortress yet.
I would take Teardown. I would take Hard Space over Teardown. So I think Teardown can go for sure.
Okay.
Dwarf Fortress. I just haven't touched it yet. I haven't. I mean, that could be a game that becomes a horrible time sink in the future.
I haven't looked at the poll yet, but I believe I will likely be playing more Dwarf Fortress tomorrow.
Okay.
At the time of this recording.
Sure seems that way.
Also, I think I forgot to put an end date on that poll, which, oops.
Look, whatever it is an hour before the stream, that's what we're going with.
Okay, well, Dwarf Fortress is very definitively in the lead.
Okay.
I'm just going to quietly put an end on the poll.
So
You've all abandoned my drums, and I hate you all.
Talk amongst yourselves.
So I think Dwarf Fortress is a game I want to get into. That could be, for me, a best game we came back to in 2023. Like I'm not there yet. I obviously haven't put any time into it, so I can't even say I've put not a lot of time into it. That is a game I will probably play during the break, and the Steam version, particularly the one that has just come out. So I can't in good conscience say I'm anticipating Dwarf Fortress being really interesting and fun. Having watched you played it, having played a very little bit, or watched Dave Snyder play a little bit of the original Dwarf Fortress, it has the things I like in it. But I haven't done it. I haven't put the work in.
I questioned my decision to play that game for the first time on stream right up until I did it. And then even most of the way through it. But then I came away from that stream, just continuing. That game was rattling around in my head. And it still is since that stream. There was just some part of me was just like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to start another world in this. I guess I haven't played enough of it to say yet if it would be my favorite here, but the graphics and UI stuff they did certainly makes it way more approachable than it ever was before. Without that, I don't think I even would have touched it.
I agree.
I don't think playing it in text mode was not something that was going to happen. Okay. Anything else here you feel? I feel safe in shedding.
I'm just gonna say I've got to go with Grounded. It's just I played it with my family. They were all into it. My kids. It's just been the best game I've come back to. It's just honestly, by what it says on the tin, right? That is the best game I have come back to in 2022 since the time we played it.
Oh man, I've got to make a decision here. I've put my name next to Grounded.
Grounded, I don't know if we
Unanimous!
I don't think we had a unanimous subcategory or run-up category in 2021.
Did we not?
I don't think
Not
we
a
ever.
single one?
I think we always had a
I think
slight.
we always had a 2 to 1.
Yeah.
I haven't removed our village yet.
Okay.
It needs to go. I feel weird about that one just because it really is the least relevant in this category. All these other games are games that got major updates or were relaunched or went 1.0 or whatever. This is just a game that I happened to play this year that didn't come out this year. Before I remove it, I am going to say I'm just literally looking at my top 10 from last year. Like I could see that game having been like a number 2 or 3 on this list.
You think it would be in a personal top 10 for you this year?
Very likely.
Okay.
Looking over the year's games again. Let's cross that bridge when
Okay.
we get there. Cross that village when we get there.
So best game we came back to, again, these are games that we have either touched or played or looked at and then came back to in 2022 for one reason or another. Unanimous Grounded. Congratulations to the Grounded team for maybe Nextlander's first unanimous pick for a category that's not the top 10.
Yeah, just crazy, the leap from that initial early access launch to the final. Like, just didn't even see the potential in it then that they ended up reaching with it.
Are we ready to move on to our next pet category?
Yes.
All right.
Do it.
Just for funsies.
Brad Shoemaker, your Just for Funsy category is
I wrote down Hard Game Club here.
the Hard Game Club.
I was torn. I kind of also wanted to do like a what pushed graphics this year type thing, but we've got a category for that.
Well, how would you define the Hard Game Club?
These are just games that are hard. That's really my
Okay.
sole filtering criterion.
Okay.
Wow, that really says it all, doesn't it?
It kind of does, right? Yeah, not much else to say about that.
What-
Just I enjoy a challenge, and some of these are like quick session, repeatable, Vampire Survivor style like run based things. A couple of them, like Callisto Protocol, is straight up just a AAA third person action game.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like these kind of run the gamut here a little bit.
Why don't you read them off?
Okay, I'll read the whole thing. Rogue Legacy 2, Vampire Survivor. I meant to throw a curveball into that last category and then got sidetracked and forgot, but we probably should have considered Vampire Survivors in that.
No, too easy. It might run away with it.
Everyone came to it in January is the thing. Like, yes, it came out in December last year,
Yeah,
but everyone
fair.
found it in January.
Fair.
Okay.
Vampire Survivors, Hyper Demon, Sifu with a question mark, because I don't think I'm actually going to keep that on here. Neon White, which is a game that, like, I guess it's just the categories we've been talking about, but I'm a little surprised that hasn't come up yet. The Cuphead DLC and the Callisto Protocol.
No Elden Ring on here, huh?
Yeah, I guess I could put that. I don't know. It's weird. Like, that didn't occur to me as a hard game anymore. And, like... I'm not... That is in no way, like, I have gotten good or anything like that. It's more like I feel like From games have been figured out, Like they've kind of... Like, they've... Especially as Elden Ring became, like, the biggest... Practically... It was the biggest game of the year until Call of Duty came along. Like, they are just about as mainstream as it gets at this point, right?
I would say
And-
they are extremely popular and sell very well.
Right. And part of that is that, like, they've become approachable, not because they've compromised their vision for design, but because people have, like, figured out how to meet them on their own terms, right?
Right.
They're certainly still quite difficult, but they've lost their reputation as, like, oh, these are the games that are going to kick the shit out of you. Like, people know how to play these games now, and, like, they can be solved, I guess, is the word.
I feel like, yes. I think if I may take the liberty to say, I think you enjoy, like, when you say hard games, it's mostly like the mechanically hard, right?
Yeah.
Like a Tunic is not necessarily like the puzzles aren't what you're talking about. It's the
No.
And I think
No.
the From stuff mechanically, I think you're right. I think people have found the pace and rhythm with From games to say,
Well, especially with this one, because this is a game that solves the problem a lot of people had with those games, which is when you run into a really hard thing and you have nowhere else to go but to keep beating your head against that hard thing.
Yeah. yes, you can absolutely just go off and do other stuff and get stronger and come back.
And there's so much other stuff.
Yeah, but also again, I've played all of their games at this point since Demon's Souls, and I feel like you go into one of those games kind of knowing what to do at this point.
I understand that argument.
But yes, as on the tunic point, like yes, all of these have some like component of dexterity and timing generally,
right?
But not always. I mean, there's also mechanical. There's more like abstract stuff as well of like I'm going to find ways to exploit the mechanics in this to make it easier, kind of like I did with Callisto Protocol, where I kind of figured out how to min-max the pickup health system so I could sell all the consumable health stuff and the ammo and just mainline upgrades as fast as I could, to the point that I felt like I was like breaking the game just a bit, which was very fun. Like that's the kind of shit I love more than anything. It was just like, oh, you thought you were getting one over on me, game. Well, guess what? I'm getting one over on you.
Oh, that game.
Also, God, dude, I loaded it up since they did that patch just to see what you were talking about. For people who don't know, they dramatically sped up the like weapon switching and reloads and the health animation and all that shit.
All of it.
Dude, it's ridiculous.
You definitely beat a different version of this game.
Like I laughed out loud when I just loaded up a save and started shooting guns and healing to see what would happen. Like it's comical. Like it looks like the animations were not designed to go that fast. Or maybe I just got really used to them, but he almost looks like he's fast-forwarding. It almost looks like they're fast-forwarding through footage of him doing those things. A little bit. Yeah. That makes me think, like, maybe they put out the game they meant to put out, and then people were not happy with it, and they were like, well, shit, we gotta do something.
Quick, hit the sliders.
It almost reminds me of, like, you played, like, the Japanese release of it, and we got the old school US release.
The one that's out now is the Callisto Protocol Easy Type. I mean, there are fights in that game where I just couldn't switch weapons or use the healing item because you would get knocked out of those animations before you could complete them, and so you just had to make do with what you had, and like it's crazy to think how different it might be now.
I told you I can't tell for sure because I beat it on a couple of tries, but I'm pretty sure I survived. There are a couple of enemies you get towards the end. There are these really big guys that can one-hit you. And when I made it through, and then when I reloaded after the patch, I still had one more to go. And I think I survived a hit from him. Dude. I think you just survive like a single hit, at least where my health was.
That's one more than you could.
Yeah.
If they made those things not single hit kill, that's also crazy.
I think it just knocked my health all the way down, and that's
bananas because if they touch you, it locked you into a death animation. Yep. There was no health involved.
You could also skip the death animations.
Wow. Did you finish it?
Yeah, I did finish it, yeah.
Okay.
I finished it post-patch, though.
How did you find that last boss? Because I sure thought it sucked.
I mean, he sucked, but, like, not as bad as the stuff I was playing pre-patch. So it wasn't the worst thing in the game. It wasn't as bad as, like, the tram ride or that two-headed guy that you fight outdoors.
Yeah. Anyway, that's probably enough about that game for now, but I've got major reservations about the Callisto Protocol, but I still really enjoyed most of my time with it, and it sure was unforgiving in spots. I don't know, do we need to go through all these? I mean, we talked about these quite a bit over the course of the year. Like, Neon White is rad, and, like, I love how snappy the levels are. Like, just, you can play 5 minutes of that game and feel like you did a lot, you know?
Yeah. Also, like, this is extremely a leaderboard game.
Right, like the way they broke it up into very short levels that are very quickly repeatable and that they integrate the leaderboards with and everything, like it's just a really good score-chasing game. Hyper Demon is kind of the same thing. Like it's also very leaderboard-based. It's the follow-up to Devil Daggers.
Right.
I think I like Devil Daggers better in the final analysis. Hyper Demon might be a little too psychedelic at times.
Hyper Demon,
it's very psychedelic.
It's pretty. It can be borderline like hard to follow at times, which I admire that they went that far.
It's intense.
Nothing but respect.
It's a lot. It's pretty cool. Also, those games, they do a lot of interesting stuff with stat tracking and stuff that I think is pretty cool. We haven't really talked about Vampire Survivors here. I think everybody knows what that is. It is the... I saw somebody on my Twitter feed describing it as kind of like anti-bullet hell. Like you're the bullet hell.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're generating It's an auto attacker. I don't know what we're calling those games, but it's a game where you just move around and all your weapons go automatically.
I call it a Death Walker.
And yeah, sure. All the strategy is in maneuvering and positioning, and also picking which upgrades you get over time.
You create the aura of death that you want.
If I had to pick a winner on here, it would probably have to be that.
Yeah,
just because the feeling of getting super upgraded in that game and just being this whirling dervish of fucking death. I mean, there's a reason that game is as big as it is.
Yeah, it's spectacular.
Yes, and yeah, I think that covers all the games here.
Yeah, and we talked about Rogue Legacy previously.
Yeah, and Cuphead.
And Cuphead.
Yeah, not like a major standout game of this year that I just... Not quite a Geometry Wars this year.
I love your hard game club.
Yeah,
I do too. And you know what?
Good stuff.
You don't need my input, but I like your winner too.
Okay, sure.
Would-be winner, let's say.
If you were picking a winner, I like your winner.
I feel like this could be the Boomerang X presents the 2022's Hard Game Club, right? Like, I feel like I know your particular style of game, so it's fun to see what you think is up there. Vampire Survivors. It's going to have a lot of clones. Get ready. Again, we should probably mention before people start yelling and don't fight about it in any kind of chat or in our vicinity. We know that there are other games before Vampire Survivors.
Yes.
Vampire Survivors is not the first. And
it was itself a clone, I guess.
It is not the originator, but it is the popularizer.
Yes. And there are already other ones coming out that I've tried that are also pretty good.
It's not a hard concept to execute on. I just think I think it's going to be very hard for any other game to gain the same level of mindshare that one did.
Mm-hmm. Especially now that it's on mobile.
Mm-hmm.
How do you guys feel about taking one more break here, and then we'll get back and we'll do our next category, which is Best Look, coming up next. We'll take a quick break. Stick around for Best Look. And we're back, and we are now in Best Look. Best Look, man. This category has really had a history over the 20+ years.
It's evolved, we'll say.
It just gets shorter.
Artistic, best graphics, technical.
Best.
I think Best Look is the most comprehensive way to describe this, because the look of the game is just everything it does visually.
Best
like,
look.
Literally everything.
Yeah.
It's like that could be everything from like ray tracing and pixel shaders to like fashion sense. You know?
It's true.
Like costume design or whatever.
It's best style, it's best technical, it's best everything.
Literally everything that goes on the screen.
I'm gonna read down the Best Look nominees that we have added so far, and then there might be more. This is already a big category, but Best Look currently includes Dying Light 2, Horizon Forbidden West, Elden Ring, Tunic, Norco, Myth Force, The Quarry, Citizen Sleeper, Neon White, Stray, As Dusk Falls, Rollerdrome, Immortality, Scorn, God of War Ragnarok, Atari 50, the Anniversary Collection, Pentiment, Somerville, Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope, The Callisto Protocol, Melatonin, Teardown, and I'm going to scroll, and that seems to be it.
I think that's all we've got right now.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. Boy, that's a lot of games that are best-looking games.
I'm looking at my list, and I don't think I have anything to add to this.
I'm looking at the year list, and I think we're ready to start picking favorites.
Boy, there's a lot on here. I guess I would. Shall I nominate some stuff I don't think?
Yeah, let's
start there.
I think Myth Force also. Wow, remember Myth Force?
Remember Myth Force?
Vaguely.
Still in early access, I believe.
It's not done.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of one trick, I guess I would say. It's a pretty good trick that they do pretty well, I will say.
It does the 90s cartoon.
Or 80s, yeah.
Late 80s, early 90s.
Frankly, they made a game that looks like He-Man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, straight up, this just looks like He-Man. And they did pretty well with it.
Yep. They do
And
their
that's
look
all.
well, but yeah.
I don't know. Like I'm looking at screenshots of it right now, and like they do a very good job of, like the character models look like cell animated characters, and the just like you have the hand painted, like the nicely detailed hand painted static backgrounds in a cartoon with the comparatively simplistic cell animated characters. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like they nailed that look, even that contrast between character and background.
It's done very, very well.
Yeah. It's worth highlighting. It would not make my list of the best game, or it would certainly not be my pick.
It is that game standout feature. I will give it that.
Not your best look.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kind of yes.
I don't think that Rollerdrome makes it on here. I do think it's. I mean, look, it's cell shading. It has a distinctive look. It is a cartoonish, comic booky looking thing, and they're adding some 70s sci-fi aesthetics on top of that. And it moves nicely, but I don't know that I think the visuals are incredibly standout. I'm going to be honest, I legitimately thought that someone had taken that game from last year, the desert exploration game.
Oh,
Sable?
gosh. Yeah,
Sable.
Yes, this does look quite a bit like Sable. Actually, I keep forgetting that, but the style is quite similar.
But they're using similar visual tricks, but just with a very different aesthetic. And I don't know. I think it's a good-looking game. I think it's cool, and it is one of the more standout features, but I don't think it ranks as highly as a lot of these other ones do for me.
I thought about putting it on my hard game club, because it's pretty hard.
It is pretty hard.
I found it to be kind of repetitive and frustrating after a while, especially trying to get certain specific objectives.
Yes.
It's a cool game. Also, I will shout out to their graphic design. Like, I think
Yes.
their logo looks like 70s sci-fi movie poster art in a really nice way. I don't know if I can get behind As Dusk Falls on here. It's certainly got a memorable
That feels like
look.
a joke.
It's certainly... I mean, I don't think it looks terrible. It's certainly memorable.
I kind of do think it doesn't look good. That's my personal opinion.
It's very interesting.
In stills, it's not so bad because it's just, it's got that painterly quality in stills. It's when you put the whole thing together in motion that it really starts to feel something off about it. There's just, it does. I'm with you. It doesn't work for me.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a real minimum of animation.
Yeah.
Everything
well,
about
only
that
on the
game.
characters.
Everything about that game feels like you fed an AI a Quantic Dream style thing and said, what do you spit out? And this is what it spit out.
Actually, watching the trailer is reminding me, like, the camera moves and stuff like vehicles moving around are pretty realistic. It's just the people that don't animate, or, there's just a minimum of animation.
And I think that's part of the problem, is that juxtaposition doesn't work.
Yeah, it was an interesting effort.
Yes. I will not knock the attempt at trying something a little different here, but I don't think, for me, it was not successful.
This ain't the you tried something category.
Not entirely. I thought that game was kind of interesting.
It just didn't do anything for me.
Oh man, a lot of games on here. So I put Immortality on here because I think they do a great job with their period filters and to their ability to make the footage. It's not novel. It's not something that technologically is any great hurdle, but there is an artistic merit to it, to making something look like it's of a certain time period, and I think they accomplished that.
Some of the clips of the supposedly old movies pretty much believably read as like, oh, this is... Maybe you're not quite going to say, oh, that's 60s film stock, but it's pretty close.
Yeah. So I actually appreciate that part of it, purely on the... you did it. You set out to do a thing, and I think you did it. And also, the set pieces and the effects you're using were believable to me for a time period. You hit the look of what you're trying to do. So I want to leave that on there for a bit, because I think it is rather exceptionally done.
I just remembered that. I just remembered the clips of the late night, the fake Johnny Carson.
Yeah.
Like, even those, like, have some good, like, 80s broadcast TV off of a VHS, like, kind of looks to them.
It's done well.
Yeah, they put effort into that for sure. I don't think I would keep Scorn personally. I don't know about anybody else. Like, I think that the fidelity wise, it looks very good. What they're cribbing from is pretty direct.
Yeah.
It is, but it is really the reason to play that game, is to see what they are doing with their horrible wet art.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they do horrible things with their horrible wet art, but...
Yeah, it's very damp.
But yeah, the inspiration is clearly there. You know, it is...
Yeah.
They're not coming by this whole cloth, and it's hard to shake some of that sometimes.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. It's very well done for what they're doing. But like some of those hallways and stuff are just so straight out of gear that...
Yeah.
And I don't remember the name. I've seen another artist referenced as well, that it's not just gear. There's another...
Beksinski, I think, is the one.
Maybe that's who it was.
It's not my best look. I wouldn't be...
Yeah, I wouldn't... I mean, I think it looks quite good.
Yes.
Like, again, for the style they're going for, I think they're hitting it pretty hard.
There's a little bit of like visual communication issue also in that game, where sometimes the art overtakes everything to such a degree that it's hard to necessarily discern where you're supposed to go or what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see that. All right, cutting it.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. We've got some big heavy hitters on this list that are probably not going to make it for me, and so I'd like to get your opinions on.
Mm-hmm.
Starting with something like Horizon Forbidden West, which is, again, we're in a place where games are looking very good. I think the art in Forbidden West is not exceptional. I mean, like the style and the design choices, but it is all well rendered. You know what I mean? It is.
Oh yeah, fidelity-wise, it's top notch.
Yeah, like that would be, if there was still a graphics technical, that would be a contender for sure.
Yeah. So
like that one in particular, I flipped back and forth multiple times between frame rate and fidelity modes. Basically, couldn't tell a difference other than the frame rate.
So
like that's a pretty. I mean, granted, I'm not on a 4K TV, but that's a pretty big accomplishment.
I think if it were done to a level that put it above anything else on here, I think that could be a reason to win. I mean, this category doesn't encompass that, but for me, I don't think it would. I don't know if you guys feel that way also, that it would push it above that. Those particular aspects of it would push it above.
Probably not. Like, it's up there just on the fidelity scale of like, oh wow, this is an amazing looking landscape, but
it's a showpiece. Yeah. Like, it is a showpiece for that console and that hardware. But I mean, look, I don't want to hammer this too much because I've talked at length about this. I just think the art direction in those games is a mess.
I think it gets better as you go through. Either it gets better as you go through. Okay, there's a couple of things going on. Either it's pretty bad in the beginning with some of the costume design, or you just get used to it as you go through. Like, you could just become used to the kind of slow boil on that stuff. But the early parts you're in, I forget what that area is called. It's like the Daunt. The Daunt. It's the chains and the pots on the head. You get past some of that into other stuff, and that goes away a little bit. But it's still pretty corny.
It's just it's a game that has always, and the first game was this way too. It's a game that has always been dedicated to doing the most possible for every possible character design. Then it goes to the robots, to just everything in that world. And I just feel like this is a game that badly needed someone to look at every character and do that thing where you look in the mirror, then you turn around, then you look back, and the first accessory you see, you pull that shit off.
Sure, I can see that. I think for the robots it works. I'm fine with it on the robot side, but I think the costume design for a lot of the human characters, like maybe it's you talking about it now, I can't not see it. Mm-hmm. It's very busy.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on there. Yeah, I'm fine to cut it. I think that, like, landscape-wise and how well it runs, it looks pretty freaking incredible.
Yeah, I can't stress this enough because I always feel bad about it, so I'll just say it again. Getting on this list means there's something about these games that is great. And, cutting them doesn't mean they're bad. It's just we're trying to...
It's not our personal favorite.
Yes.
Okay. Feel free to argue with me on this one, because I didn't play this one nearly as much as you guys did, but I didn't think Dying Light 2 looked that great.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Some of those, for some reasons, are stylistic, some are sort of technical. Apparently, like, it has a very robust ray tracing mode on PC, and apparently looks fucking incredible if you have the hardware to run it, which I don't. Apparently you need like very top of the line hardware. I've seen people saying, and I've watched some footage, that it's like practically a different game with the full ray tracing on.
Okay.
And that gets into the stylistic stuff that I kind of had a problem with in this, which is that the first game was incredibly dark at night. Like, the first game is straight up the most terrifying, like, day-night situation I've ever seen in a game, because they are very unafraid in that game to let you see fucking nothing in front of you. Like, the whole gameplay tie-in with the night stuff in the first game is that there are pockets of light that you're kind of trying to run between, but there are vast stretches where you can barely see where you're going, and there are some really awful things like right on your heels. And this game felt like they really got away from that sense of danger at night, and you could just kind of see everything by moonlight all the time. And that kind of bummed me out. Like, it lost some of the kind of really terrifying nighttime atmosphere that the first game had for me. Some of it is still there, but it's not as potent.
Yeah,
I think also just on a fidelity level, like looking at some of those characters up close and some of the animation stuff, it feels a little slipshod in places.
It's kind of cartoonish.
Yeah.
Like, the characters have a little bit of an exaggerated look to them, which is kind of a matter of taste. I think it looks fine. Like, art design is basically fine, but not super remarkable. It just didn't feel as dangerous as the first one to me. All right, going.
Yeah,
sounds like
it's not going to be on mine.
Elden Ring would not be up there for me just because I feel like I've seen them do fantasy art so much already.
Oh, there's really good stuff in there.
Such an incredible variety of it, though, and like, I don't know, man. Every time I mean, again, I didn't play nearly as much as Vinny did, but I also saw some of the places he went while he was streaming it, and just in all the places I went, I felt like every time I walked into a new area or discovered a new area in that game that wasn't just like a dank cave, I had a moment of just like putting the controller down and just being like, huh.
Yeah, it's
fair.
There are really amazing set pieces and artwork in this game, and there's just a lot of it. There's a decent amount of variety. It's really good.
I think the character design, like the enemy design, is some of their most distinctive stuff.
Yeah, it's not always just bubbly eyeballs.
Yeah.
On monster, it's not always just the grossest thing.
It's not always fucking Sneak King running around.
Not always. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I would leave it on here for now.
All right.
Yeah, I'm not ready to part with that one.
This is gonna be a tough one for me because there is a lot of stuff here. I think God of War Ragnarok looks fantastic. I think that game visually is some of the best, kind of like Horizon, some of the best stuff out there. It has every right to be. It's it's a top tier first party game. I can't say anything about the visuals on it aside from I've seen a little bit of it before. It feels a little also ran because of the previous God of War, and seeing this, unfortunately, maps. Ooh, my voice got a little fuzzed. Oh no.
Oh man, they're trying to silence you.
Sony. I think God of War Ragnarok maps God of War 2018 to Ragnarok standards. That effect of like when I think back to 2018 one, it's like, oh, it always looked like this, right? And it's like it did not always look like this. I'm gonna soft keep that on here for now. I know that's kind of a cop out. It's just very, very good, and it feels wrong to cut it just yet. It's probably not gonna make it for me. I've got Elden Ring, God of War, Norco. It's a lot on here.
Yeah. Here, let's knock a couple off here that I think can just that I'm not going to go to bat for, and therefore I don't think anyone else is. Melatonin is a really nice looking game. It has a cool art style, like some nice animation in it, but it is fairly simple. It's a rhythm game. You're really not meant to like focus in on the visuals more than just to kind of see what you're doing as you're playing the different levels. Like, it's cute. It's a really nice animation. I don't want to like discount it, but I don't think it's one of the top best looking games of the year.
Okay, fair.
That's fair.
It's not going to be on mine.
And I don't think Somerville ranks for me either.
Somerville is probably on my best.
The opening of Somerville maybe does, but then as it wears on, and also as some of the stuff involving character animation and butting up against the environment starts rearing its head, I feel like I lost a lot of that luster.
Yeah, Somerville is kind of a bummer. A bummerville.
Oh man, don't. Nope. Too late.
I did it right there. It's like right in my wheelhouse of games I've loved, like Out of This World and Flashback and those kinds of games. Even Inside, you know, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm kind of with you. It's something's not tight enough about it to all click and be cohesive for me. Though I really like it and it deserves to be on this list, I wouldn't mark it as my number one.
Gone.
Just
cut.
Is Atari 50 really in here?
I mean, yes, absolutely.
I
Like, I'm
think
not saying it's going to be
yeah,
my pick.
totally.
But like the graphic
Dare
design
you.
and the motion graphics, like the transitions, that menu.
there is
Like-
there is a production layer on this of visuals that add to not only the story they are telling, they add to each thing that is presented, and I think that is the visual design on that stuff.
I'm not
100%.
saying it's not good. It's great. I have nothing negative to say about the visual presentation of that game. I just don't know that it stands out for me in the way that it would need to for this category.
It is, and I don't know if, unfortunately, I bet the trailers are not going to show a ton of the menus, but it is straight up the menu design in this game, and not just the way they look, but also again the way they animate and the transitions
Yes.
between different things.
It's
Like,
very
from-
slick.
From the second you load that thing up and get to that front menu, like it feels lovingly crafted in every single way.
Yeah.
Like quite literally, as you go through the menu options of the different eras on the title screen, they took Atari hardware into a studio and lit it very nicely and had it like rotating on a turntable in front of the camera as an inset in that menu. Like the whole thing is just put together so well.
And I'll even add to that and say, you know, organizing the data is hard, and they did it in a unique, interesting, and that's a visual way. You know, instead of
Yeah.
just like here's a dump. It's
And the dump is still there if you want it.
And the dump
but-
is there.
even like the zooms in and out of those timelines where you kind of zoom into a timeline and kind of see a lot of it before you drill down to the first part. Like it's just, I'm not saying it would be my number one here, but it is absolutely like a very strong visual effort.
I'll take Atari. How about this? I'll take Atari 50. And again, these are all fantastic games. Over Neon White. I think Neon White does a thing, does it well, matches what it needs to with the visuals and the speed of that game. You know, it works in a you know, this is moving very fast. We don't even need textures. We're just gonna go. You're not gonna have time to look at anything. Everything reads super quickly like it needs to. The visual design is smart, but I don't think it's my best look on here.
Strong use of color to enhance playability at the speed that game moves at. I mean, the best thing they did was make that game look exactly as good as it needs to run at the frame rate it needs to be playable, because performance is all that matters in that game.
Yeah, and I think the character art is pretty good, but I don't think it stands out in a way that is of a style that is extremely unique. You know, it's of a certain type.
Yeah, but I think that the relative simplicity of the environment design really feeds this needs to run very smoothly
And read quickly, and they do that, and that's no small accomplishment. I mean,
Yeah.
if they mess that up, this game wouldn't work.
Yeah, they did a good job with it. Like that said, like am I like jumping out of my chair at the art design and stuff in this game? Not really.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can. It is worth saluting, but I could see it going
yeah.
for sure.
When I say that, it's not that I don't want to salute it, it's that I don't know that it's going to make our final list.
Ooh.
Now we're getting into it here.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't actually think Stray makes it in the end, but it is a looker. It has some really strong art design. I love the robot style. I love their expressiveness. I love the cat animation. The city design, which is, let's just be real, is basically Kowloon Walled City, but future-y, is still done very well. I just don't know that it's in the tops of this category.
It might be my number one here.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
If it is, then it's on there. I wanted to raise it.
I will leave it on here for now.
Okay.
For sure. I'm not 100% decided, but that might be my number one.
Okay.
Let's keep it. I really like it as well. It's not going to be my number one, but I understand the struggle.
Okay. Here's one Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. We'll get back to it.
Here's one that I put on here that I will take off for myself, which is Citizen Sleeper, which is a game that I think has some really excellent character art and does a really good job of unifying that with the presentation that they are doing in the game. But it is not quite as much of a standout looker the way some of these other games are.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I really like the character art. I think even just character art, I have other picks I would pick for it. I mean, Citizen Sleeper for me is about the writing and the experience, and
the art, and the music.
Yeah, and the art supplements that. It's very good, but I don't know if it's. I would say it's the best of the year.
It's not the game's strongest component.
Yeah,
but it is very good in that regard.
Okay.
I could see the Quarry going unless anybody's super attached to it. Like, I think technically it is quite well executed. Like, those characters look very good, to be fair.
It's probably the strongest, make the people look like the people work they have done so far.
Now that I say that, maybe we shouldn't cut it.
It's very, very good.
But they made a summer camp game, and, it looks like a summer camp game.
Yeah, I mean, the art design is what it is. It's very functional and gets the job done just fine. But, like, some of the close-ups on those characters, I mean, like, you do need believable human emotion to read in games like that, and it really does. Like we're getting... There are spots in that are out of the uncanny valley for me, I think. Like, there are parts where some of those characters, like, I don't even think about them being 3D models anymore. They're just actors. Laura is the one that loses her eye, right, with the eye patch?
Yeah,
from the intro.
Yes. Right. Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it was. Something about her model in particular. Like, I just felt like some of her close-ups, I was just like, holy shit, this looks lifelike as hell. Like, I'm just shocked at how good this stuff is getting. Not all of them are like that, to be fair.
Yeah.
Some of them definitely, like, they do kind of get into that slightly robotic mannequin territory.
There's some weird teeth in there.
On occasion. Ted Raimi is another one.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. It almost feels like some characters are better executed than others, but Justice Smith is another one. I think those are some of the best, like, just best realized, like, these are real human beings in that game.
It's great. It's, it also makes you realize, how quickly some of the dark picture stuff is put together. There's a contrast between something like this and the dark picture stuff.
Definitely a quality divide between this and Devil and Me.
Yeah.
It makes me excited, though. I mean, I don't know how fast they're going to keep cranking out dark pictures from the leaks. It seems like very fast. But if they do any more long-term projects like the Quarry, like if they do another one by the end of this generation, like, I'm very excited to see what they end up doing with that by the time that comes around.
They've got a great thing going. I really like what they're kicking out.
I really like the poster for that. I really like the box art. Like that. It's just some good teen slasher flick art.
Yeah.
That could probably go.
I just think there's stronger games on here. It is a strong one, but there are better ones.
I'm probably not going to go to bat for that in the end.
I think I can let Sparks of Hope go. It is probably the best looking Switch game this year, especially from anything that is. I mean, it's not Nintendo first party, but you know what I mean. It's really nice looking. I mean, that hardware is showing its age in a lot of ways, but that is a rare game where you don't really notice the hardware age at all. Like, they've smoothed everything to such a degree. I feel like this level of cartoonish stuff plays the best on this hardware, and they really do kind of nail that. And some of the world design and character design, I think, is genuinely pretty inventive and fun. But I can't say that it beats at least 4 or 5 other games on this list for me.
Yeah, that describes my feelings pretty well. Like, they live within their means really well with this game. Like, they don't... Like, they make it look good without pushing that hardware so hard that it kind of...
Yeah, it runs well, too, is the thing.
Gets messy. Like,
yeah.
It feels like an earlier Switch game in the sense that it still runs like it should.
Yeah.
And still looks good doing it.
Yeah.
Great game.
Yeah. But yes, I get where you're coming from for sure on that.
Oof. Okay, we're getting into it now.
Yeah, now we're kind of getting into the weeds here.
Okay. I know I really like the look of Teardown. How do we all feel about Teardown?
I also really like it. I love that, like, pixel art in a 3D world kind of stuff. Like, I was following that game before it even had a name, when it was just that dude posting animated GIFs on Twitter of like, hey, look at this shit. I'm like, He's like, hey, look at this kind of voxel renderer thing I'm working on or whatever. Before it was even a game. There's something uncanny about the way that thing looks.
Yeah. I don't know if it's the tilt shift on stuff or what, but like
that's part of it. I'm literally looking at footage and I can't describe what it is I'm trying to. Everything has just got such a blocky look to it. Like it's just so well executed. For the exact type of kind of destructible terrain thing it's doing.
And it kind of works. You know?
Yeah, it extremely works. Man, I wasn't even thinking this would be a major contender for me until I look at footage of it and I'm like, oh god, right, that does look incredible.
You know, I just
There's
looked
some really impressive stuff in there.
I just looked at the fire propagation.
Yes, the way the fire propagates and like the physics on swinging objects and destructibility, those mods we loaded up, and all the shit you could make it do.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
Remember Yoshi? Remember the Titanic?
I do. All right, you know what? Leave Teardown on the list for now.
Yeah, let's not ditch it just yet.
Oh, boy. You know, I played a lot of Pentiment. I like what they're going for. I don't think it's my best look.
You might be right. It's really the small details in that game. Like, obviously it is going for a very particular art style, and I think it really nails that. But then they do little things like the the Ethiopian priest that you meet. Like, his character style is done in a different art style than everything else because it's more close to, like, you know, his homeland and the art style of that era. And, you know, just the way they kind of, I don't know, man, like, you're right, it probably isn't in this top of the category, but for going for such a specific thing and nailing it to the degree that they do, I really am impressed with the visuals of this game a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I came out of that presentation, they gave, like, gushing about all the detail that they put into it, and you know, clearly a labor of love and all that stuff. Like, I think my only knock against it is if I hadn't gotten that in presentation, I would have been hard-pressed to pick out most of that detail. You know what I mean? Like, I would have come out of this saying, like, oh yeah, that really does look like medieval art, or whatever. But I absolutely would not have noticed, like, oh, this character, like, characters from this class are woodblock, and these other characters are illumination, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I probably, a lot of the fine detail would have been lost on me if I hadn't gotten it somewhere else.
I mean, I'm no expert on this kind of stuff. Like, I don't have, like, a background in this kind of art history, but you can just feel it kind of in every corner of that game. Just, like, the amount of research and accuracy that they were striving for and how well executed it is.
Yeah, I listen.
But it's a really nice but in the end, it's a really nice looking side-scrolling game that has pretty good character art and animation that is expressive. But it is not necessary. I agree that there are probably stronger games on this list.
I mean, I will say for the scope of that game's development, it looks incredible. Like,
yes,
like they did a lot with the small number of people that they had.
There's also, it should be mentioned, there's interesting things they do with time in that game and the art and changing things around. So that's also worth mentioning. I'm looking at this list. I'll read it in its current form for those listening. Elden Ring, Tunic, Norco, Stray, Immortality, God of War Ragnarok, Atari 50, Pentiment, Callisto Protocol, and Teardown are the games currently on here. Let's get to some we haven't talked about yet.
Okay.
Tunic. I think Tunic looks great. It's fun. It's not going to be my number one. I don't know what to say other than I just really like the art style.
It's a really beautiful game.
It's close to my number one, honestly. Like, I'm torn between Tunic and Stray. I mean, first of all, those manual pages are just, like, sublime.
That's true. That is
incredible in terms of recreating the exact feel of video game manuals from that era.
You're right. Yes.
Like, I just, like, fell out of my chair the first time I got one of those manual pages and pulled it up.
If you had best start menu or best manual,
best thing that makes me remember my long lost childhood.
Mm-hmm.
This is it by far, but also, like, the look of the world and, like, there's something there's like a soft focus or something glowing about this game. I don't know how to describe it, but there's something about the look of this game that is just so damn nice.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a really joyful thing to look at.
some of the like god rays, the like in that forest, you know, the way the lighting looks in a lot of spots, like, man, I thought I might give it to Stray coming in here, but now I don't know.
I maybe lean more Tunic than Stray if that's where things are headed.
Well, everybody's choice is their choice.
I know.
Like, that doesn't matter, but
I'm just giving you my personal opinion.
I knew Tunic would be up there, but now that I'm watching this trailer again, like, I don't know, man, that's a
We'll
very
leave it on
strong
there?
effort.
Okay. We got some
That's
more.
a very strong effort.
I'll just say, I think for Tunic, the pure confectionery visual design is a big part of what makes plucking away at that world so interesting. Like, I don't know, it's just like every I wanted to see every corner of that thing, even if the gameplay didn't always necessarily like reinforce that.
All right, Norco.
Talk about a game that has a distinctive visual style. I mean, yes, it is operating in the framework of a point-and-click adventure game, but like in terms of realizing what they want how they want that space portrayed, that city portrayed, and especially with the kind of, you know, like alternate futuristic technology that kind of like infects everything. I don't know, like, it's just so singular to me. Like, it is such a... If that art isn't what it is, I don't know that you get as ensconced in that sense of place and those characters and that world as you end up doing. The writing is fantastic.
I'm trying to listen, what?
But I think the visual and audio design more than supports it. Like, it is a huge factor in what makes it appealing.
All right, we leave it?
It might end up being.
This is getting tough. Okay. All right. The Callisto Protocol.
Yeah, I think that's the last game we haven't talked about here. Like, that is definitely the graphics technical winner.
Totally.
Like, art design wise, it's not doing a whole lot that has not been done before repeatedly.
Yeah.
God, I'm just being reminded again, looking at these screenshots, how these literally could just be screenshots of Dead Space 4 in another universe. Like, if we lived in a different timeline, it's very much that. There is some art design stuff in that game. Some spots with the lighting. Actually, that intro with the prison break, when you are out on the catwalk and there's the big, like, the solitary confinement tower thing in the middle, and those spotlights are roving all over the place. Those like blinding spotlights. Like, just visual design wise, that part actually looks incredible. Like that was a really strong opening. I don't think much else in the game reaches that height again that I can think of.
Yeah, there's I actually for me, I really like the last. You don't get to explore it much, but the very last stuff.
I visually, I'm super with you. I got there and I was like, wow, this looks super cool. Like, it was a little bit. It was kind of such a hard swerve though in the last like 10 minutes of the game. It was like, I kind of wish you had built up to this a little more. And maybe had a little more time to marinate in it, and also maybe justified it a little more. I mean, like, the story does sort of justify why you're in suddenly this very different environment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. It looked very cool.
It's cool. You don't spend a lot of time there.
Also, the helmets in this game. Like, I don't know that they make a lot of diegetic sense other than maybe it's supposed to be so people can see each other's faces out in snowstorms or something.
Oh, for sure. No, I think in space,
little spotlights inward on people's faces inside the helmets. Like, it just looks awesome. I don't know how to explain it. Like, just the way it lights people's faces up behind this visor on these spacesuit things, I thought looked really cool.
Yeah, it's very believable.
But, you know, like, the monster design is pretty straightforward in that game. It's really just, like, it looked good enough to get me to play it on the quality mode, you know? Like, I played both modes, and there is a profound difference there, qualitatively, not just in terms of, like, resolution and stuff.
What do you think? I don't know if it's going to be mine.
It's an exciting taste of things to come. I don't think, like, art design-wise, that it gets there for me. Very, very worth highlighting on a technical level. Especially because they're on essentially a last-gen engine for this thing. They did a lot of work, a lot of that work themselves, but I don't think it hangs in terms of overall look for me.
Man, this is tough.
It was up there though. I think it's down to Stray and Tunic for me.
I think
Maybe
I'm on
Atari 50.
I think I might be an Elden Ring.
Okay.
Lock.
All right.
I might be an Elden Ring.
Wow, I did not expect to see it.
I'm not sure
know.
I did as well.
Elden Ring almost is my pick.
Interesting. I'm in, okay, here's where I am. I'm either Elden Ring, Norco, Immortality, and maybe Atari 50. Like,
I mean, that's
like,
I'm with you.
I think God of War Ragnarok, while I think it is visually, amazing, and again, it's one of the, it's up there. It wouldn't supplant one of those other ones, so we could probably take God of War Ragnarok off this list just to make it a little easier. But yeah, I really loved exploring Elden Ring, and I think more than the other From games, and more than maybe any other game on this list. I just think the visual feast in there is not
They're
only
feasting.
abundant, like quantity, the quality is also there. There's it is samey in a lot of parts, but when they turn it on, some of the towns and the capital city, it's fantastic. So I think for me, boy, I think Elden Ring.
Okay.
All right, okay. I'm gonna write a name next to Elden Ring.
Yeah, I think
That name is Vinny.
I think
You think?
question mark. He thinks. I think.
All right. You are eventually going to have to make a decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. This is tough. Like, Tunic, Stray, Atari 50, Teardown, like any of those, I feel like could take it for me, depending on the day. Alex, have you committed here? Is it going to be Immortality for you? Because if Vinny's not,
Me? No.
Oh
he's
no,
still thinking.
I was an
He's still-
Immortality person, but like,
Yeah, but you're still thinking though. So
yeah,
technically-
you could.
But it's not Immortality,
It's
I can
not
tell you that.
Immortality.
it's not okay. Okay,
Yeah.
I can go then.
But I think they knocked it out of the park with the visual, the targets they were going for.
And it's not Pentiment for me either, in the end.
Okay, so it doesn't sound like Pentiment's going to make it for anybody.
It's it's maybe between Tunic and Norco for me at this point.
Pentiment is an
I'm leaning
amazing
Norco.
effort. Just to be clear.
Yeah.
Like the amount of detail and nuance they poured into that thing is kind of astounding. It was more of a me problem. I'm not like positioned to appreciate it without my hand being held.
Totally. Yeah, I think it's between Tunic and Norco, and I think I maybe just lean Norco because it's just so weird
Norco's great.
in a wonderful, wonderful way.
Okay. All right. Writing Alex's name here next to Norco.
Yes. Lock it in.
All right, Brad.
Man, I
made the
just
decision.
thought it was going to be Stray coming in here, and now I'm torn. Shit.
A lot of lookers on this list.
So for those listening, one more time here, the things that are still on the list: Elden Ring, which I put my name next to; Tunic, Norco has Alex's name next to it; Stray, Atari 50, and Teardown. And I think so. Brad, where are you
feeling? This is for best look, just in case,
Yes.
just in case
Yes.
you've forgotten. Man,
Like, what are you tossing around here?
gosh, it's
Where's your
probably
heart?
really between Tunic and Stray.
Okay.
I do think Atari 50 looks incredible. Like they went so above and beyond on the presentation of that thing. Like even with the content of that thing, it still could have looked like it still could have had way less like pizzazz in the visual design.
Yeah.
Even if it were the exact same product otherwise, and they really went above and beyond there. Teardown is more of a kind of mechanical, this looks amazing. It's just like, oh, the parts this is built out of kind of lead to it looking amazing in a weird technical way. But like Tunic and Stray are the art design ones here, right? Like those are the ones that are very intentional.
Yeah.
I think it's got to be between those two for me. I don't know, man. Maybe I was just Quake 2 pilled 25 years ago or something, but like color lighting in Stray is fucking incredible. Like the lighting that they use across that game, and a lot of it is like pretty stark. A lot of it is like, this is very teal lighting, this is very pink lighting,
Yeah.
this is very bright fluorescent lighting. Like it's not necessarily subtle, but I don't think that's what they're going for. I just think so much of the environment design in that game just looks incredible, and the way they use the lighting to enhance it. And I like the robot designs. Like I think that like Robot with a screen for a face is like very well-worn territory, but they still manage to do some interesting stuff with the way those robots emote and stuff.
They get a lot out of it.
That I thought was really fun. Oh man. Vinny, are you locked in on Elden Ring? Is this literally just me now?
It wouldn't be Stray. For
Okay.
me. But yes, I will lock in on it. And the more I think about Elden Ring, the more like I just want, when we played it on stream, I just wanted to show off stuff and, you know, some of the vistas and the bosses. It really, I think for me, really struck me this year.
Sure. Man, I just have to make a decision here. I think it's Tunic for me.
Oh my
honestly.
gosh! Curveball!
I think it's Tunic. Like,
is it the manual pages?
That's a huge part of it for sure. But I mean, I think that even without those, that game looks incredible.
Yeah.
Like it very much looks like a modern Zelda. Like, you know what? Like that first forest area you get to reminds me so much of Link to the Past in the way the lighting is used and stuff like that, and even the bushes.
Not accidentally, for sure.
No, I mean, it's very intentional, but like they just do it so well. Like it so much is a modern old Zelda.
Yes.
In every way. Yeah. Yes, I'm giving it to Tunic.
Okay.
Apologies to Stray, you almost made it. I do think that last shot of you opening the city is pretty incredible.
I think either of those is a really strong pick.
Atari 50 and Teardown also look pretty rad, but I'm going with Tunic.
So that is our first three-way divergence on best look. Now, okay, I just want to, for the sake of everybody listening, and for the sake of you guys, could you imagine the three of us having to sit here and now trying to pick of these three games the number one game?
Who would do it? Who would do that?
That just seems
no one.
Like a... Like, what
Fool's
would you
errand.
do? How would you do that? Come on. All right.
Pull out a gun.
Elden Ring, it was my pick, Vinny's pick. Tunic was Brad's pick, and Norco was Alex's pick. After a lot of debating, there were some really excellent looking games, both technical, artistic, and stylish, of this year. But I think those are three really solid choices. Whew. Best look in the book. Best look in the book. We have one more category we're going to try and get to for today.
Yes.
It was a category. Can I set this one up? Can I spend a little time
Please
setting
do.
this up? It was a category we were like, do we include this as a main category? This one always gets weird. You know it. I love it. Everybody loves it. Everybody doesn't love it. It's the best.
You know I love it.
It's the best music category, and we all really wanted it in there, but it's so hard to present always. So we have decided that this category, Alex, you picked this for your personal category. What is it, for funsies?
For funsies.
Personal funsies category. So instead of debating the best music from this year, we are going to go and leave it to Alex. Alex, what is the best music?
Someone at home is going to get real mad because this is definitely going to lean toward my personal musical preferences, but that is the nature of what we're doing here.
This is your personal funsies.
It is my personal funsies. So I'm going to have you play a song from some of the ones that I think are the ones that are going to hang here.
Okay.
But before we get to those, I would like to just knock off some of these that I feel like are, hey, I want to highlight this, but it probably isn't in my actual top list.
Why don't you read the games that you've put on this list?
So all the games I have on here are Citizen Sleeper, Norco, Vampire Survivors, Elden Ring, Ollie Ollie World, Metal Hellsinger, Melatonin, Pentiment, Shredder's Revenge, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game, Splatoon 3, Trombone Champ, Tunic, and Vampire Survivors again somehow. Not sure how I did that, but we only need one.
Really, really like it.
Trombone Champ is the spiritual winner no matter the actual outcome here.
Yeah, Trombone Champ is not going to be on the final category here. I'll just say that right now. But I want to highlight the fact that they made the exact right choice for that game, which is they went and got a bunch of royalty-free music, did goofy MIDI versions of certain things and otherwise, but they created a soundscape that is perfect for the joke of that game, which is also pretty fun. It's not just a joke game, but they nailed the joke.
It's mostly a joke game. I don't know. I've seen some people out there starting to post like their perfect runs of really hard songs, which, like, yes, that is absolutely a feat mechanically to be able to pull that off. feel like it's kind of losing sight of what's so amazing about the game.
Which is the joke.
Like, I respect your skill and everything, but I really want this to sound terrible.
Yes. And boy, it can sound really terrible. But shout out to Trombone Champ for doing a thing and nailing it.
Are you actually taking stuff on and off the list?
There's going to be like 5 or 6 games that stay on the final list. But there are some of these that I just wanted to briefly highlight and then take off. So that one can take off.
All right, I will take it off.
I think you can take Pentiment off.
Okay.
It is a game where it has the right soundtrack for the mood they are setting and the era they are portraying. But it is not a soundtrack that I found myself ever really wanting to go seek out and listen to outside of the game.
Okay. Pentiment is off. And again, this is your personal list.
This is my personal pick. These are my personal picks, so yell at me. Don't yell at them.
Don't yell at me.
Ollie Ollie World and Melatonin are very much of a kind. It is of that kind of lo-fi beats and, jams to study and skate and fucking have weird melatonin dreams to. Both are good, and they are right for the game that they are in. But I don't think they stood out to me quite as much as some of the other ones. But they had really good music in them.
Okay, Ollie Ollie World and Melatonin have left the list. Okay.
2 more I'm going to knock off here, and then everything else is staying on.
Okay.
Shredder's Revenge, really good at doing the arcade music. They also, that fucking, that RZA song, or Ghostface song is really good. I warmed up to the Mike Patton theme after a while. Didn't love it at first.
The intro,
the theme?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I know that?
I think we talked about that
I think
before. Mike Patton is doing the theme for that game. It's good. It's good stuff, but it is not in my top of the category.
Okay, Shredder's Revenge coming off. All right.
And Splatoon 3, they made another Splatoon soundtrack. Those soundtracks are always good. It is just, I don't think there were quite as many bops on there for me as there were in previous ones.
Splatoon 3 off of Alex's music personal list here. We're leaving.
The rest are staying.
Okay, what do you got?
Citizen Sleeper, Norco, Vampire Survivors, Elden Ring, Metal Hellsinger, Tunic.
Alex, would you like to showcase some songs for the folks and to illustrate why these 6 games are on your list?
Absolutely. For the start, let's just go from the top on down.
Okay.
And for Citizen Sleeper, why don't you pull up track 4, Matsutake.
Okay, here we go. It's going to take me just a sec to find, so...
By all means. We're not going to go through a whole listing party here. I'm going to pick a song for each one and I just have it underneath while I'm talking about it.
Okay.
Save ourselves a little bit of time here.
And music.
And opening a FLAC.
Sorry.
That is my favorite aspect of this. Is that we are bringing you this music in a lossless format, even though the podcast itself will be heavily.
Look, it's what I have, okay?
Okay. Hopefully this is coming through for everybody.
It is. So Citizen Sleeper, again, it's a very text-heavy game, and it has some really good character art, but I feel like a big part of what sets the mood in that game is kind of just the background beats and jams. This is actually not the track I was thinking of. I'm sorry.
You got a different one? Okay.
Try Yatagan, which is the one right before it.
Okay. You got it. Hold on. We've got a...
It's not that song isn't good, it's just it's not...
You've got a...
doesn't have quite as much of a beat to it.
Another replacement. Here we go. Queuing up Yatagan. And take it away.
There it is. But yeah, you're on this space station, but it is a really, it is not a space station that is in good shape, and a lot of the community there and the people there are just sort of, scraping by in this place that has been all but abandoned by the larger space infrastructure going on in the background. And so much of the vibe of this game, I think, is communicated through the music, because, again, there's no dialogue, so... It is the soundtrack artist here primarily is Amos Roddy, and just it's one of those things where it's like I wanted to go and listen to this music after I was done playing the game.
I know this is your personal list, but it doesn't stop me from agreeing. This is a great soundtrack.
Yeah. For the next one here, I'm gonna go. Okay, so we have Norco up next. Let me see which track here I want you to play.
Okay.
There's a lot here. I mean, why don't you just bring up the overworld theme, Perish?
Okay.
Actually, that might be too short. Well, actually, there's a couple of different parts of this soundtrack. Let's start with One Night in New Orleans,
okay.
track 8.
Track 8, thank you for the number. There are a lot of tracks on this.
Yeah, because this is a kind of a split soundtrack. Gugly is the main soundtrack artist, but also this band Thou, who are a sort of like blackened death metal band from the South. They do a handful of tracks for this, and Thou is actually a band I really like a lot, so that helps my interest in it. But this is another game that is greatly aided by having a really thoughtful and meaningful sounding soundtrack to everything going on, because again, there is no voice acting. And while there is a little bit of a for every character that is distinctive for each person, I think the music really is the thing that kind of gives the emotional heft to much of the storytelling that's going on here.
Yep. Again, a thumbs up on this one. Norco.
And if you want to just pull up one of those Thou tracks real fast, just do the very last one, View of a Burning City.
Okay. Which number is that?
43.
Okay.
It's a long soundtrack.
It's a long soundtrack. Okay.
This is really just my excuse to make you guys listen to some metal. I'm sorry.
Those are guitars?
Confirmed.
You can skip ahead a little bit. Or no, there it goes. But yeah, that was a very droney, very like slow, heavy metal band. And that's kind of what I love about them. And this is also just my excuse to get everyone to go listen to the collaborative record they did with Emma Ruth Rundle last year, or 2 years ago, which is truly one of my favorite records of the last several years.
Norco, pretty good soundtrack, very good game.
Fantastic.
All right.
What do we got next on the list?
Vampire Survivors.
Oh man, there's so much we could jam out here on, but I'm gonna go with Reincarnated Echoes, track 2.
Okay, hold on, let me pull that up. Sorry, Vampire Survivors.
So Danielle Zendara did the bulk of the soundtrack, but Filippo Vicarelli also did a good chunk of it, and also Will Davies did a handful of tracks. This is the most video game soundtrack of all the ones on my list.
It really is.
Like, this song would not sound out of place in a Castlevania game.
No.
And I think that is a thing you can say for a lot of this soundtrack, is that while they are definitely evoking that particular franchise, it's its own thing, and all of the music is pretty memorable on its own. It isn't just pastiche.
That's part of what I would say about this game technically being a clone of, like, it's not like this is the game to invent this genre, but it does have its own specific charm to it.
Yes.
Like, it is more than just a clone of other games. Like, there is, I mean, the sprites also look like they are out of an old Castlevania game, right? Like,
yes.
It looks like some kind of weird ROM hack in a way.
Totally.
Like, there's...
But maybe the best ROM hack of all time.
Like, there's something about this game beyond it's just ripping off other Android games or whatever.
Yeah.
Any other tracks from here you want to get to?
Do you know which one is that? The very first one from the first level, like the first one that you just hear over and over.
Copper Green Intent is the one you want. Is the next track right after this one on the soundtrack.
You got it. Coming up, we got a special request for, was it Copper Green Intent?
Yes.
Okay.
Like, for how much you hear that song, it just doesn't get old.
Is this the one, Brad?
Is it?
There are a lot of songs on the soundtrack, by the way.
I think it's this one.
I don't think that's the first level music.
I'm gonna play the first track on here because I don't know if that's it, but
this is like a 5-second track, but sure.
Is this like the menu? Here we go.
Yes,
that is definitely the menu.
Awesome.
It's fine. You don't have to find it. But the point is, the music fits the game very well, and for how many times you have to hear it loop over and over, it doesn't really wear out its welcome.
I want to play this one just because I like the name. It's track number 6. How do you pronounce this, Alex?
Vampire Survivors.
Okay. I don't know why it's called that, but I like the name of it.
It's like borderline, like northern Midwest, like, oh, Vampire Survivors.
All right, Alex, what else you got on your list?
We got a couple more here. Okay. We got a couple more. I want to get through here. Let's see. How about, what is the next one on the list?
The next one on the list is Elden Ring.
Vinny, I'm going to let you choose, because as much as I love this soundtrack and this, we always joked about how we were all so bad about like actually loving orchestral soundtracks and stuff from these kinds of games. This one's amazing from top to bottom, and I feel like, but you also had the most time in this game, so you pick the track.
There are 67 tracks on this soundtrack.
Their soundtracks are always very long.
I'm gonna go with what I hope is the opening, because it says opening. Because
it is that track.
Is the best music in an opening maybe ever made, and it takes a little while to go, but I'm gonna let it go.
Let's just let it go. Because what a soundscape this game paints.
I love this thing when it kicks in.
Let it build.
Let it build.
Is this the intro movie music or the title screen?
The
music?
title screen, I think.
Oh, I
think maybe this is the.
I think this is the intro movie.
It sounds
music.
like the intro movie.
Oh, it might be the intro movie music.
This game definitely has my favorite From Software title screen.
Title screen.
Music.
That's what I'm looking for. What do you know? What that is called?
I don't.
I'm gonna go with just their first thing called Elden Ring.
Could be it.
Because that is.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
That is it.
That title screen theme does go hard.
It goes so hard. It doesn't take too long to get there.
Yes. Sorry. The title screen is what I wanted to play.
Yes.
The intro movie music also very good, but.
Oh yeah, here it is. Yes, thank you. It's so good. It's still sending chills down my spine.
Oh yes, this is It's that screech that's about to happen. Yes, that.
It's so good. I literally get like chills from it. It's so good.
Me too. Me too.
This music is so fierce that I was sometimes afraid to boot the game up. Because I didn't know if I could handle hearing it before I could get into the game.
It is absolutely music that signals you are in store for some shit.
I feel like this music just like grabs you about the shoulders and throttles you.
It's so good.
If I were narrowing this down to a top 3, there's no way this soundtrack would not be on there.
Yeah, it's really good. There's one more I just want to play on here because I don't remember it, but I remember the zone playing it the part a lot, so I just want to see if I recognize it.
Okay.
Let's sure. This is just says Melania Blade of Mikola, and I just did this fight a lot, so I'm wondering if I will recognize the music from it. A lot of these songs have a little lead up, so I might skip around.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, absolutely do. God, sorry for those listening that have played this and are now under their desk.
Having moments.
Yeah, just curled up in a ball. Yeah, I'm just going to skip around a bit. Yep, man, I got to turn it off. Sorry, I'm turning it off.
Flashbacks.
All right, we got 2 more here.
Okay.
Metal Hellsinger is the one on this list where I feel like the soundtrack actually outpaces the game in a lot of ways. I think Metal Hellsinger is an interesting concept for a game that's executed reasonably well, but I didn't love it. But I think for the kind of game they are trying to make and the specific vibe they are going for, the particular flavor of power metal they go for in this game is correct.
Do you have a particular track here you want me to
Let's go with track 5, okay. Stygia, featuring Alyssa White Glues of Arch Enemy. You can skip ahead a little bit if you want, because it takes a minute for the vocals and stuff to kick in. There we go.
Nailed it.
But yeah, this game's flavor of metal is very much in that riff-heavy, like, very processed drums, very, like, soaring vocal style. Like, there's definitely some, like, death metal growls in there, too, but...
Metal Hellsinger.
Yeah. And, you know, for a game that is about, you know, a demon just running roughshod through hell in a very rhythmic way, it works.
Yes.
There's your death metal growl.
Yes.
How do they do that?
You know, it's a technique, man, just like any other vocal style.
How do they not shred their throats?
Some of them do.
Alex, is there another one from here you wanted to play up?
Yeah, why don't you pull up, let's go with track 13.
13, lucky number 13.
Acheron featuring Randy Blythe of Lamb of God. It's a slightly different flavor.
I've heard of them.
Yeah, they've been around for decades.
Yeah, this is a game I think I wanted to like more than I wound up liking.
It's a really interesting concept, and I think they do execute on it. I didn't... At a certain point, I got kind of exhausted with it.
All right.
Let's at least wait until the vocals kick in, then we can kick out.
I hope everybody can hear this on the video. Hopefully it doesn't get muted. These are the tracks.
Yeah.
These are always the tracks that make me a little worried.
Yeah. All right, we can move from there. And the last one is Tunic.
Tunic
is up there for me.
Tunic.
Me too.
And there were not a ton of music standouts for me this year, but Tunic is way up there.
So this is a collaboration between Lifeformed and Janice Kwan. Neither of their work I am intensely familiar with, but the soundtrack they constructed for this game is phenomenal. Another game where I think the oral presentation is a huge factor in what makes it so interesting to pluck away at and exist in that world.
Do you have a particular track you want me to pull up here?
This is another one that has like 60 fucking songs on it. So I feel like anything from like the early goings, because that's probably what everyone has heard at least a little bit of, like Memories of Memories or Weight of Rain or any of that stuff.
Okay.
Memories of Memories is the one that stands out to me as like, you hear this a lot.
Yeah.
All right. Memories of Memories. Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah, like I can just see the camera like sort of twisting down toward the landscape as the song starts.
Yeah, this is a great soundtrack.
Yeah, for sure.
It's beautiful, and like, you know, I think there is an abundance of synth-wavy, kind of ethereal sounding indie game soundtracks out there, but this one really just like every little piece of music that would crop up like stood out in a way that was more than just background fodder.
Something really otherworldly to me about this music.
Yeah.
Like this very much feels like you are in another place now.
Yeah.
And it fits it fits with the art style, it fits with like the nature of exploration in the game, like all of it, it's just like, it's a concert, you know?
I could chill with this music for the rest of the episode.
Me too.
Yeah.
For sure.
There is like discordant stuff in here. I don't know them by name, but do you mind if I try one?
Yeah, try for it.
Okay.
Like I said, there's a lot of music on here.
There is a lot, and some of it gets a little darker, which I actually really enjoyed in the game, but I don't know them by name, so I'm just going to try and guess by what they're titled here.
This is the Wrong Way is one.
Pull that up. Do you know what number that is, Brad?
11.
Okay.
I have the soundtrack in my library.
Okay. So again, there are a lot of tracks on this soundtrack. Okay, this is The Wrong Way.
Games are long, and you need a lot of music to fill them out.
Yeah, like this kind of stuff. It's a little darker.
Yeah, you can definitely feel yourself at the bottom of a well.
Yeah.
Discovering that there's some dank dungeon down there that you can't see anything in. Type stuff. Very I am in the depths, Zelda type stuff.
So Tunic.
Yeah.
Tunic.
So I was fast forwarding a little bit to get
if I had to pick If I had to pick a soundtrack this year, that would probably be my pick.
Alex, do you have anything you want to exceptionally call out from these, or have you made your call out?
Do I have a winner is basically what you're asking?
No. I mean, listen, they're all very good, but which one would, if you had to pick one right now, just because I'm asking, which one would you put on and listen to?
It's really between Norco and Vampire Survivors for me, with Tunic being a very close third.
Okay.
But the thing is, I wanted to listen to all of these soundtracks throughout the year, is at various points outside of the games. And that is kind of my main criteria for whether a game soundtrack is either just good for the game or something special. And I think all of them were like, these are all soundtracks where I'm like, I wanted to listen to this completely irrespective of their placement within these video games. I think I probably lean toward Norco overall, just because, I mean, look, I'm very in the tank for that game. I don't know if that's coming across or not.
I'm getting that vibe.
But I think Vampire Survivors is like, it's like 1A and 1B. You know what I mean?
Yes. So that is Alex's music category, his personal funsies category. Citizen Sleeper, Norco, Vampire Survivors, Elden Ring, Metal Hellsinger, and Tunic all on that list. Great soundtracks this year.
Wonderful music. And I went into this category not necessarily feeling like, am I going to have a lot of games for this? Am I really going to... Is there going to be enough here for a fill out a category? And by the time I was like, fuck, there were some amazing goddamn soundtracks that I spent a lot of time listening to this year. How did I forget about this?
We are going to wrap up this day's award show or celebration, let's say, of video games. I'm going to recap what we have here, starting with Best Storytelling, where Alex and I picked Norco and Brad picked the Atari 50, the Anniversary Celebration for Best Storytelling. And I get it. Next, I had my personal category, which was FMV and or point-and-click adventure games that are for cool people. On that list were The Quarry, Immortality, The Centennial Case, The Shijima Story, The Dark Pictures Anthology, The Devil in Me, The Excavation of Hobbs Barrow, Return to Monkey Island, Norco, and Not for Broadcast were all on that list. If you like those types of games, go check them all out.
It was a good year for those.
It was a good year for those. Moving down the list, we had Best Game We Came Back To. Again, those are games that we kind of wandered back to, whether it's because of DLC, a 1.0 release, or just because we wanted to. We all unanimously, Alex, Vinny, and Brad, picked Grounded on Grounded's 1.0 release, and they keep going. More updates to come. Next, we had Brad's personal category, the Hard Game Club. Brad had Rogue Legacy 2, Vampire Survivors, Hyper Demon, Neon White, Cuphead DLC, and the Callisto Protocol. Brad, you didn't single out anything on that list, right?
Not really.
They're all wonderfully hard games.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, he's going back.
I was thinking about it.
Callisto Protocol is the one that is like, I mean, most of these are just hard, period.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one that you can get good enough at and also exploit enough with upgrades and such.
Free speech space Karen Marsman, and to do this I need to acquire this asset, this very valuable no, you were embarrassed into doing this mistake. You got embarrassed. This is like the biggest fucking, you know, when someone like is like, would you like to see the wine menu? And I'm like, sure. And then they're like, actually, we'll send a sommelier out for you. Like, no, I'm fine. It's like, oh no, how much would you like to pay? I can't tell the difference, I'll be honest with you. $10, $20. And they're like, oh sure, I will find something. And you're too embarrassed to turn back the $90 bottle that because you don't want to look like you don't know what you're talking about. Elon Musk did that. He did that to Twitter. He is too embarrassed to turn back, and he's like, oh no, it's all part of the plan, you know.
it's also like, it's like that, but to extend that analogy, it's like you ask to see the wine list, and then instead of ordering any of the wines, you fold the thing forward, you slide the menu back to the waiter, and you say, I'll just have a glass of piss. One glass of piss, please, and I will pay for the most expensive bottle of wine you have.
And then also, can you film this and show everyone that I'm drinking piss? Can you spread this far and wide? In fact, can I buy the very machine that will amplify my piss drinking abilities to the world and literally live inside it like a fetus? He moved inside Twitter. He lives in there. He's living inside the nightmare of his own design. Like you can't. This is so Lovecraft. Like years later, we didn't have the technology to imagine torture this bad. He lives inside the very building.
I have no musk and I must scream. It's like the whole fucking thing, man. It's like the hardest part about it was like people kept saying, people trying to do this like, well, you know, you think he's doing something dumb, but actually every time that he does something like this, he just gets richer and richer, and like he's just got some like secret plan that's super unethical that you're not thinking about. Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, I know why you'd think that, but he got caught doing the unethical thing and didn't get away with it and lost. Right? And like, it's just it's unbelievable.
Even the part you're supposed to be cool for, everyone saw. You know, even the part that was supposed to happen behind the scenes, everybody saw that, and it wasn't cool at all. It was so embarrassing for you. It was so deeply embarrassing. But now you live inside, and yeah. How was sorry, long rant, short. How's your Twitter experience? Post 2.0.
I mean, it's Twitter. It's always dog shit. I mean, Twitter. It's the #1 contributor to every mental illness that I have. Twitter is.
Sorry, would you say contributor or exacerbator?
I would say cause of. I would say that even before Twitter was around, it somehow sent depression back in time for me.
Wow.
I will say this for Elon Musk: if his incompetence manages to like take Twitter off of the internet, that would be like an incredible service to humanity. You know?
I have gone back and forth so many times on this throughout the history of the, like, at first I was like, I'm very scared of Elon Musk taking over
Marcus,
Twitter.
are you
I want this to
here?
happen. Then he took over Twitter, and it was the funniest thing that ever happened on the internet. Like, I got to be a
Comedy's
part of
legal
it.
on Twitter now.
Yeah, I mean, you were tanking companies that extort
Hey,
human
what's up?
misery to sell insulin, a vital medication they need, and you have.
Stream. Are you seeing my screen? My Unity.
Lots of flashing.
Yeah. You know what? It's something to do with the day-night cycle. It's probably having to do with the shader, the toon shader, actually. But do you know any reason that the day-night cycle might be causing this that wouldn't be the toon shader?
That I can think of. I mean, it's actually moving the sun, like the light fixture. So my guess is that it has something to do with, like the source light being moved over time. Yeah, I don't know. My guess is that maybe the toon shader is not intended to be used for dynamic lighting. Because
What if I go to... Seemed to help a little bit. Actually, what if I just turn all this off?
I would say do something like turn off the sun, the light, the actual. Well, maybe in the sun object, can you turn off? I'm trying to think of how you could turn it off without breaking the script that runs. You know, that actually runs it anyway. So how we can make it so you can essentially test it.
If it goes slow enough, maybe no one will ever notice.
Can you pause? Does it happen when it's paused and you move the light source? It might have something to do with moving the light source.
It might have
and-
something to do with the moon is also putting out light. I bet that's what it is.
Yeah, they both put out light, so there's
So if I turn one off,
or turn like the light super far down or something. I'm worried that turning it off will give you like a false sense of it worked because then the script might just break altogether. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But I guess you could just turn. Did you turn off one light source? Is it still doing it? I guess you could
No,
just
I
start
did.
that
It was
way.
still doing it with it off. Oh, is it freezing? It's freezing now. internet knows.
Did you test without any of the light sources on?
Yeah, it goes away if you turn off. If I turn off the there is also just a directional light that's always on in the room. If I turn off the
There should only be the directional lights with the sun and the moon, unless there's something
I think
else.
there's another one. I think there's this one.
I can't see that. I can only see your play screen or whatever.
Oh. Share my whole screen. So if I turn off the whole, there's this one, which doesn't do much, and then if I turn this off entirely, it does stop.
Yeah, so and that's the day-night cycle, actually, the moving pieces and stuff. I
could just turn the lights off entirely and simulate.
Turn the day-night cycle on again. It's not like running right now. There's just it is running.
It is running, yeah.
Turn off turn the day duration. You'll have to pause or unplay and then play again. So turn the day duration to something super high. You'll have to turn it off, change the day duration to something super high, and then I guess you can't. You're still working in.
I guess
it's kind of annoying. Yeah.
Change it here.
There you go. Try that. And just see if it's slower or something.
It is slower. The flickering is still there. Let me see.
It's definitely what we think it is. It's
I'm just wondering if I change some of the properties of the shader, might that just fix it? Like, let's see.
How is the shader implemented? Is it through?
This is a Unity did their own tune shader, which is better than any tune shader I've ever downloaded from their asset store, which you can just download and install it, and this is how it comes. Okay, let's see.
Is there anything on the in the Unity shader stuff that talks about like dynamic lighting and using it with it? Dynamic lighting, maybe that would...
It is experimental, so it might just be that it's not.
Yeah, not up and running fully.
I mean, there are things that dynamic light just means a light source that's moving or changing in brightness.
Yeah.
I mean, there are things in it that's like, oh, I should react to light. Maybe I should just turn those off. Get rid of those things. Thought I did turn them off, though. I thought that's what this is. Lighting effectiveness. Although maybe that's in... Stops at a certain point of time of day for a little while.
Maybe that's when it's nighttime or daytime.
Stops when the moon is just rising for some
Go
reason.
open up the left hand object for night and day cycle. And maybe just turn off the sun or the moon.
I tried
One by
that, it
one.
didn't, at least turning off just the moon didn't affect it. So it is just the movement of it, it seems
I
like.
think it's just it seems to be the moving lights. It doesn't know how to handle them.
I could just fake it and just have a general brightness in... Because
The point of the day-night cycle is mostly just so that you get the moving shadows.
I do want there to be moving shadows though, because
We
this
can
is
fake
a
it
totally a
otherwise.
witness type game, and I want there to be puzzles that rely on time of day and shadows and stuff like that. So ideally I would like to get this working.
Maybe it's something that we could fake.
Yeah. It also would not surprise me though if this is just a click a box type of solution.
Yeah, it could be something in the rendering pipeline that we could figure out.
We used Universal for Necroskull, right? This is a branch from
I don't
Necroskull.
fully remember, but I feel like it must be universal with the stuff that we're doing in it.
Because we had, I was getting a compile, like an error, a compile error on launch, or like on opening Unity before, and it was that two packages weren't working with each other or something, or invalid dependencies or something, and it seems to have gone away. And when I was trying to do it or figure out what it was, I can't remember why, but I thought we had imported something with the HD render pipeline, or maybe I just did. I didn't think I did though, but I thought maybe in the beginning of Necroskull you were thinking about doing the HD pipeline, and maybe there was something left in there from there or something.
I think we completely got rid of it, the AC render pipeline stuff. But I don't know. I can't remember. It was so long ago. I don't think we. I think I started a project using that, and then quickly went off of it when I realized how long it took to compile. And I think we wound up starting a whole new project for it. But yeah, I can be wrong.
Hold on, maybe just this one. This guy's saying he had that his shader only worked with one light in the scene. So maybe if I turn off
Directional light too.
the directional light too, yeah. Although turning off the directional light seems to work, period. Like, it seems to not affect it, period. But let's see. And then let's try turning off one of these. I guess I can't even tell now. It is that. It can't, I guess it can't handle 2 or more.
It looks like it's still flashing a little bit, just much less.
Right now it's not though, right? I just turned the moon back off. It doesn't look like it's flashing now. Not that I could, not perceptibly to me anyway.
No, not right now. Definitely not.
So I guess it just can't have more than 2 lights.
more than one light, right? Because you have the directional and the moon off. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
That could be something as simple as switch them on and off when we decide that moon time is coming in. We might be able to find a more elegant solution for that. That if that's the case, and we really want to use the tune shader, then at that point, we could probably find a way to use one light source for both the moon and everything else.
Yeah. Let's see if they found the solution. Okay, here's maybe a thing. If you edit project settings while the project is running, does it save them?
I don't remember. There's a set of rules. Pretty much anything that needs to be serialized does not get saved. Like serialized meaning like it goes because it actually runs in C. So like some things get serialized, turned into C code.
Let's see this thing that they're talking about. Actually, this sounds so old. This is from 2012 that it might not even work this way anymore. I mean, this is a pretty solvable problem. All I need to do is just, you know, have one light source.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But then what if I want there to be like the moon lighting and firelight or something like that though?
I'm not sure how. Maybe it won't be as bad locally. I don't know.
Also, will lights not update? Oh wait, never mind. It's there. Okay, it looks like point lighting. If I wanted to do like a point lighting does not cause the flickering, just the directional light. Hey, handsome. What did you just take?